Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing about the history of newspapers in India. So it was Calcutta from which the first newspaper was published in India, and it was published by a Britisher named James Augustus Hickey, and he published this newspaper in the year 1780. The newspaper published by him was popularly known as Bengal Gazette, and the another name of this newspaper was Calcutta Advertiser. Uh, this newspaper was opposed by the Britishers in India, and later on, this newspaper press was confiscated. The size of this newspaper was about 35 centimeters into 24 centimeters. The second and the third newspaper, they were also published from Calcutta, and all these earlier newspapers which were published were in English language, and slowly newspapers started coming out from other parts of the country also, like the Madras Courier, the Madras Gazette. They were started from Madras. From Mumbai Herald was launched in the year 1789. In 1818, Lord Hastings he removed the strict censorship measures for a milder set of policies, and because of this removal of censorship, there were few new newspapers which started emerging in the country India, and few of them were in the Indian language also. Like a social reformer Raja Raman Roy, he edited a Persian weekly called Mirat ul Akbar. The first language newspaper in India was started in Kannada language, and the name of this newspaper was Kannad Samachar. The first Indian language newspaper published by an Indian was also launched from Calcutta, and the name of this newspaper was the Bengali Gazette, and it was published by Gangadhar Bhattacharjee in the year 1816. The Gujarat Daily Mumbai Samachar, published from Mumbai, is the oldest existing newspaper not only in India but also in Asia. It was established in the year 1822. The cultural awakening and freedom movement also led to emergence of number of newspaper. Times of India was published in the year 1861. Then the Pioneer was started by Rudyard Kipling in the year 1866. Then there were number of other newspapers like the Amrita Bazar Patrika, the Hindu, the Tribune, etc. Hindustan Times was started in the year 1923, and there were a few newspapers like Malayala Manorama, which was established in the year 1888. When Mahatma Gandhi returned to India, he gave a great impetus to the freedom movement. As we all know that he was a great editor too. So he took over Young India, the weekly started by Home Rule Party in 1918, and later on he launched two weekly newspapers named as Navjivan and Harijan. Gandhiji insisted that his papers will not carry any advertisements, but all his publications they had wide circulation among readers. There are around 41 such newspapers in the countries which have crossed 100 years mark, and these are called as centenarian newspapers. Among English dailies, four have crossed this mark, like Times of India, The Hindu, Tribune, and Statesmanship. Apart from that, there are certain language newspapers like Mumbai Samachar, Amrita Bazar Patrika, which also have crossed this 100 years mark. Now let's talk about the technology used for printing of the newspapers. Initially, these were produced by hand composing, and later on they were replaced by monotype and linotype of machines. But these has become obsolete now. Nowadays, typesetting in computers, offset printing, laser printing, and desktop publishing have become quite common. These are the linotype machine and monotype machine which were earlier used for publishing the newspaper. Let's talk a little about the size of the newspapers. Newspapers basically come in three sizes, namely broadsheets, tabloids, and Berliners or the middies. Nowadays, all the newspapers have their internet editions, and there are few newspapers which are only web-based. That is, they do not have the physical printing of the newspaper. They are only available on the webs. Then the other forms of print media like magazines, Business Week, Sports Era. Then we have comic magazines like Champak, Nandan for the kids especially. The magazines are also categorized as weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Weekly magazine is published once in a month. Fortnightly is published once in 2 weeks. A bi-weekly is published twice every week. A tri-monthly is one which is published every 3 months. So then there are certain publications that come out only once a year, and such publications are called as annuals. I hope this presentation by Faculty of Mass Communication from Lotus Petal Foundation has helped you in understanding the history of newspapers in India. Thank you.